Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower, and with me today we got...
Kyle McIntyre.
Oh, and then we got a new face on the show.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you've been on the show before, but you've never been. So he's a fellow podcaster. We've been on episodes together, but it's first time on the show. Welcome, Tony DeGraw.
Hi. I always wanted to do this. Kyle McIntyre.
You can, if you want to, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's from the Signal Path podcast and the Texas State Boggle Champions King of the Hill podcast. So
yeah,
I like the Signal Path, but I'm going to be honest with you, I really love that that King of the Hill podcast. It's my weekly.
What you got going on is just fucking money.
It's the way so like him and buddy Joe from Like My Pedals and Just Surprised Me, that podcast. Him and Tony, they break down episode by episode breakdown of King of the Hill. So they do a good job kind of playing some clips and talking about the show, and it feels like I'm rewatching the episode when I'm actually just listening to it. So
that's my purse.
Yeah,
that's my purse. I don't know you.
Because it was like a Monday morning listen that I would. Oh, you guys would put it. I think you are now pushed it back to Wednesday. For that first week, I was like gonna text you and Joe. I'm like, oh, where's the fucking podcast? Where's this free podcast?
Cool, the Jets turbo.
And that's what I realized as I was typing it out. I was going to start a group and complain about a free podcast not being out on my schedule. And I'm like,
you should just send us emojis with the torches and pitchforks.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? But anyways,
that's the last thing people need is more group chats, by the way. Yeah.
Oh
my mom
God,
starts a new one. It feels like every week with like, it's just one person's not there or another person's added. I'm like, how do you know which conversation
it's a
we're
group
in?
Chat like different combinations, so like maybe you and your brothers, and maybe this one doesn't have your sister in it, or this one's your sister but no, your brothers aren't in there, or one brother's missing. So it's all like she's probably like, she knows what she's doing, so she's just like keeping information from the other one.
I confronted her.
I don't think so.
Well, there's numbers in there that I don't even recognize. They're like people I don't have in my phone.
Yeah,
it's like some 903 numbers. I'm like, who is that?
Well, yeah, I recently went through, because I think most of my contacts on my phone are from my Gmail account, and I've had that for years, probably since I've had my first Android phone, because it saved it to your Gmail. And then I'm like, oh, okay, which is easy, because every time you get a new phone, just sync it to the contacts, right? And I was like, one day, I'm like, I have so many just numbers, you know? And then if you're, like, back in the day when you're going to buy shit off, like, Craigslist or whatever, you would save the guy's number. Or,
douchebag 42.
I'm like, I had the number for the guy I bought my, Digi 03, which is DigiDesign, like Firewire interface.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Back in 07.
Yeah, and I had that in my phone still. He was like Digi 02 Jeff.
I was buying used cars, and I was looking at Jeeps. I'd be like, red Jeep, black Jeep, yellow Jeep.
It was all still in my contacts, or it'd be like, oh my God, we used to have to do this, for shows. They all ages venues would want you to sell pre-sale tickets, so you'd go and meet people, which I'm like, that's pretty shitty. I would never do that ever again. I'm too fucking old. I don't have the fucking no. If somebody asked me to do pre-sale tickets, I'd be like, no, fuck off. Your venue sucks ass. Sucks my ass, pal.
Pay to cover at the door, pal. Yeah,
but it would be. I had a bunch of people's numbers, like so and so, Epicenter tickets, so and so, Soma tickets, because you would be texting them and trying to meet up, and it'd be like drive all the way across the fucking county to sell like 4 tickets. You get $1 a piece for that.
Hell yeah!
But I went through
putting the work in, dude.
I went through my contacts and just deleted a shit ton. This is like what I do. We didn't even get to the what's news, but it turns out that's, I guess, my what's new. One of the things I've done for the week.
I used to save, like you said, Craigslist. I used to save people's numbers because I would have like long drawn out conversations with car parts or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get to kind of know, what's a project you're working on, whatever. But I had like, was it 5 years or something? A guy sent a message to me, and it was like some cryptic message, like he was, I don't know, just like meet me at blah blah. No, yeah, I don't know, but it was his number. Like I had it saved.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. I'm like, I think you have the wrong number, and nothing back. I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck. It's like, whatever, meet me at this location. Ball, I don't know. Maybe he thought I was another Craigslist number. He had my number saved or something.
Yeah, or
I'm like, why are you messaging me back? First of all, why do I have your number saved?
Yeah, just delete that.
Are you? Because I sold him something. I sold him like a Fender or something. I'm like, you trying to get your money back, bitch? This is 5 years.
5 fucking years. Even if it was 5 minutes, I'd say fuck off.
Yeah, 5 minutes. You walked away, dude.
Yeah.
Who is Truck Stop Bathroom Stall 2 on my phone?
Seabass.
Seabass. But I always think about that. I think I've talked about it on the Patreon, having just like hyper aware of like anything that's scam. And I just like flag it, block it, or whatever. And so like, I like even on my phone, like if I don't have that person's number, it silence and it goes straight to voicemail. And then I think about with I had it one time, there was like some, I guess, like voicemail that was left and they only said my first name, and it was somebody I've never heard of in like it was like Virginia or whatever number, and
the
I'm like,
police are on their way.
No,
they're at your
like, door. Hey, Brian's really long story, but I'm, in the hospital, and and I'm like, that's got to be a scam, and that's when I'm like, let's Google it, let's see what this could be, and I didn't see anything, but the person never contacted me back, so maybe they died, and I'm like, well, but I have no idea. Anyways.
Maybe they were like, hey, is this a brain goer?
Yeah.
Brain goer. I need a brain transplant.
I need a brain grower. They're probably doing those in test tubes now. He's going to do brain. Or get some brain. There you go.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. So,
rat brains.
Yeah. So, we're a little, off topic here. Or off the rails already. We haven't even started the show yet.
Oh, man.
So Tony, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye. No.
Bye.
No. Bye. So Kyle, we want to catch up with everybody. What you been doing this week? What's new? What's shaking? What's grooving? What's good?
Man, I get a local, like, they do a local pickup of just like brush around here, and I freaking just totally procrastinated. Is today, and I totally like didn't do any. Like, I was gonna do like small loads over time. It's been hot as hell. I wanted to like, do a couple loads at a time, and I realized I looked at the backyard and I'm like, I have like 30 feet of like brush that has either fallen from the wind or just dying brush around my house. I had to move it in like 102 or 3 degree heat yesterday. Fucking killed me. I was like. I don't know. People bitch about the heat here, I guess, but then they also act like they can handle it. But
like
they're the only ones I hear bitching about it.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like, people from other places, they can't handle it. I'm like, neither can you. Okay, we're talking about it right now. If it was a regular occurrence, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Dude, I've been to AT&T Stadium, and I felt like my shoes were melting in the parking lot.
I was about to ask, you're in South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
It's probably similar where it gets hot and humid and hot as fuck.
It's humid. It's 100% humidity, so you're straight swamping it.
You got
swamp ass. You got sewer butt. All the above.
You have to wear a man pon all day.
Just get a towel and just run it back and forth.
Bring it back out and use it again.
Oh God! I'm gonna change
it has its own thermal mass though. At one point, you got to change it out.
Yeah.
You get a diaper rash. Anyways, so my wife and we took care of that yesterday, but it was like the fucking hottest day. I should have just done it. I was like, oh yeah, oh shit, pickups tomorrow. Well,
you look at her and you're like,
better get to work.
You're like, so you gonna go do that?
Yeah, no, it was pretty rough.
Yeah,
and I only moved it like from just my yard to the street. But it's like, fuck, man, this is all I'm doing today.
I'm checking out.
That AC's nice and crispy inside. Yeah. Anyways, so I did that, and also I hung up more guitars behind me, as you can see. I don't know if you can. My fat head's in the way. But I alternate, bass, guitar, bass, guitar, bass. So it actually everything works pretty well. There's a couple that are like, touching, But atoms never actually touch, so
yeah,
they're not actually touching.
Yeah,
that's true.
So you're not using any guitar racks, huh?
No. There's still a couple. Like I have, a project here. You just kind of chilling, waiting to get built.
Yeah.
But I need a neck for it, so. But I'm trying not to hang up projects, like broken shit. That basically is what it is like. Oh yeah, take a look at this broken guitar I have. Oh, that's cool. Oh, what's over here? Oh, that's also a broken guitar. So most of these are actually functioning guitars. There's there's two basses on the wall that don't have strings on them. So
they're non-functioning.
Yeah, they're non-functioning.
Throw them away.
Yeah, burn them. I got a burn pit.
The string broke. This guitar is broken.
Yeah.
Can I get a refund on a broken guitar string?
These Fender strings suck.
Go to the store to buy one guitar string.
Oh, God.
Have you tried buying picks? Like
just singles?
Just single picks and be like walking in. I'm looking for this certain perloid pick.
Yeah. I want that red celluloid pick that leaves a mark on your friend's white pick guard and then you just walk away. You play until you see it and you're like,
were those the celluloid ones or were they
they were like the really cheap ones, whatever they passed out at the store.
Yeah, like the
or
guitars,
the
guitar
free ones.
Yeah.
Probably sure it's celluloid. I don't know.
It says Sam Ash on it.
Yeah. It's like some bullshit Gibson Fender, whatever brand that the promo they send to the shop.
Yeah, or
but yeah.
Are they pearl? No, they're not like perloid or whatever, the tortoiseshell looking ones. The hell are those celluloid? I don't know what
they're all thin and heavy and medium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What kind of pick? Oh, I do the thins, bro.
Yeah,
what size is that?
I don't have any of those. I have my little pick bowl here, and I'm checking to see if I have any. But yeah, anyways, because I know on my What's New, I want to talk about picks.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, slam the brakes on this one, Brian. You're
whoa, slow down there, Sonny. We had a good conversation. Why don't you fuck that up? Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Like that, right?
Yeah, like that.
That's the one that would leave a mark on the...
I don't think so. I think they're like the solid colors. They're like, I don't know, like candy red looking ones.
Okay, got it. Anyways, yeah, I like those.
Who cares?
The white pick guard, which you shouldn't have a white pick guard anyway, so I did you a fucking favor by scratching that up.
Yeah. You already have the scratches, but then you leave that one mark that you're like, how does that even?
It's like
how can I wipe it and it doesn't go away? It looks like lipstick.
It's like wearing tidy whities. You were asking for it.
You were asking for a shitstorm.
Did I piss my pants and shit myself today? God damn it!
Oh my god!
Let me check.
Take your drawers off. Like, this is a little L today. You lost.
Taking the L, walking home, and you're.
My
god. But anyways, so got some. I actually went to Guitar Center and bought, I think, 6 more.
Yeah,
I just walked out of there I look like an idiot. I don't know. And they're like, well, first of all, I carry them all the way to the register. I got a strap and I got some bass strings and stuff. So I'm trying not to fall. I put them on the counter. He's he rings everything up and slides it back over. And he's like, all right, have a good one. We don't have any bags. I'm like,
you got it.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
I have to walk out, not like an automatic door. I got to open a freaking swinging door. I didn't drop anything, but I was like, oh, I felt like Mr. Bean. Yeah. I got all the fucking guitar hangers.
Yeah.
But hung those up. Wasn't that big of a deal. I had a couple extra, the ones over here are from my garage back in San Diego. I know, Tony, lean in. Come
leaning in. Yeah. Is that like blue jean? What is that color?
On that strap?
Yeah.
It's like the Jacquard
Noir.
Ernie Ball. What? Jacquard Noir?
Yeah.
It's like a pattern. It's like a paisley looking thing. Strap.
Oh, nice.
So I kind try and match my straps to my guitars, but it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, how do you still have sheetrock on the wall with that T40 hanging there?
I found a stud. Actually, I ripped the drywall off and I reinforced it with like there's an I-beam. There's a steel I-beam behind. I welded it into the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. And then an Abrams tank is like on the other side anchoring the wall.
So it doesn't fall over. Nice.
Yeah. Dang. It was good. It was a good experience. Just kind of like, everything fits pretty well.
Yeah.
I had it all jumbled and I'm like, why don't I, like I said, I alternated like even this way. It's bass, guitar, bass, bass, guitar. So it's like, why didn't I have that? I'm like, why is nothing fitting? I'm a fucking idiot.
Now, are you OCD about the hanging part? Because, I hang my guitars too, but I keep switching the order of them.
Yeah.
And
not yet.
That doesn't mess with me so bad.
I think I am now because it's like everything that one has to go in that spot because it fits between here,
right in the horn. Yeah.
No, I mean, there's a little leeway, there's a little bit of movement, but anyways, yeah, you're hanging your guitars too, right?
Yeah, I even made that comment today when you posted that, you were hanging guitars, and I totally went punny and said, hey, we could finally hang.
Come on over.
Come on.
Bring all your hangers and guitars. Hang them up in my house.
Yeah, no kidding. But can swap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's my what's new. It being super hot as hell, and then me, super interesting.
Hanging some guitars. But yeah, I mean, you're
guitars.
Definitely saving floor space. That's what I was asking with the guitar rack.
It's true. I had that like 9-space rack that Johnny gave me, and then once I got everything on the wall, I was like, man, this small ass room just got bigger.
Yeah,
like so many industrial rack
for activities.
Yeah, it's like I'm not tripping on. I have like a box over by the door right here. And I was like balancing, trying to get out with that rack leaning and like kicking guitars and shit.
So, like tight roping in. What?
Yeah, just dive in and roll.
Yeah.
Fucking Rambo style.
You have to Mario your way into it, like dodging over Goombas and shit.
Yeah, I'm like, it actually feels like a good space now with everything. Yeah, because I'm showing off my. I'm like, did you ask if I play guitars? I'm into music
because I do. Yeah.
Thanks for asking, but yes, I like music.
You should have just got those.
I like One Republic.
Those guitars.
I'm into music. You like Timbaland? Yeah. Look at a guitar.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Cry me a river, dude.
Wearing my.
Yeah.
You wear Timberlands. That's how much I like them.
Yeah. Those are lugs, bro.
Those are fucking lugs.
Anyways.
Yeah, you got a lot of guitars.
That's my what's new.
I was saying it kind of looks like a Guitar Center. Instead of the rug, you need to have like a giant Fender frontman combo blown up on the wall.
It's like, why'd you pick the smallest,
that's the wallpaper. Yeah, the wallpaper they have is like a bunch of like Fender, like a crappy amp. It's not like a Fender.
Or it's Marshall stacks that go like 30 feet high. You're like, that's feasible.
Oh man, you guys don't miss like the giant blow up of like Korn and the current artist of the 90s,
Yeah. They big one, Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. Like, where'd you get that? You just cover like, I don't know how you would
fat heads and
just have the heads on the wall.
You can do that for your wallpaper in your house.
Wes Borland's face on your wall, fucking scare the shit.
Just like with
his black eyes and
all his makeup. He's just like just staring at you, and you're like, oh.
Put in the bathroom.
You just redecorate the house, and your wife comes over like, what the fuck? It's like.
Hey, Guitar Center was getting rid of it.
Guitar Center was having a sale.
This is the only thing I've ever gotten from them for free. Okay, they got rid of. They won't do the monster thing anymore. But you know what? We got this.
Yeah,
they won't let me trade my broken ass cables. Anyways,
I bought an Ibanez and a fucking PV half stack, and they included this. I said no, sir, you have to.
All the employees at 4 different stores to fold it.
Anyways. Tony, I guess first time on the show, so you want you.
There's a lot of what's new.
Yeah, start from the very beginning when you were born to now. What's new?
Hi, hi, Tone Jerks. First time caller here. Long time listener.
First time, long time.
Yes, I always wanted to do that. So I am a Charlotte, North Carolina native, born in the Van Halen year of 1984.
Hell yeah.
So I'm an 80s, 90s kid. And, currently now rocking podcasts, but in my 20s, in my heyday, was playing a lot of new metal, and I had my own Christian rock band that was played on like radio stations like in Dallas and stuff,
nice.
and doing Cornerstone.
Dang.
And
Dallas,
thought I was gonna make it big time, man.
Yeah.
Like, played so many youth groups. I played probably about 300 shows a year. It seemed
Damn.
Oh, dang.
like Friday nights, Saturday nights, and rocking the Sunday mornings, but nobody counts those. But
do you play?
Then,
do you play praise and worship, or do you play for a church currently, or?
I did. I'm in between churches at the moment, so I've offered to help them with the pro audio side of things. So finally learn what compression is.
You're like,
they got like a Mackie board with 6 channels. So I'm like, where's the compressor?
you start just twisting knobs. Yep. Turn the compressor up. It doesn't have a compressor. Oh, so.
Yeah, and then they got like a little ridge bar that you can't turn the mains over, like negative 20 decibels or something.
Yeah.
Like you're like, it's too loud. I'm like, but your gains are not set up here. So. I'm just kidding. So I played praise and worship, but I've played through 2 decades of stuff before they started using the Nashville system, like to play.
Yeah.
Back in the capo days, they're like capo 2. I'm like, what's that? Like.
And then you're playing in a band now, currently, right? Is that
I play in
or?
It's a fun band, like a jam band, cover band. Yeah, and it's called Rust Bucket. So we play a lot of car shows and dives and bars and that kind of thing. So
that's actually crazy that that name wasn't already taken. Because you guys have the URL for YouTube, right? And I'm like,
yeah.
What is that's a great band name.
Got it back in 07.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just jumped on that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. My bass player owns a muffler shop, and he's located in Morganton, North Carolina. It's called City Muffler. Give him a shout out. But
check him out.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Yeah, come on down. He's a great guy, down to earth. He can either make your car louder or quieter, depending on your needs. So.
Yeah.
Mostly louder.
Most people want it louder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you can rig up the El Camino there, Kyle, like for real. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So we got gearheads like from all ranges, literally turning wrenches to playing music and that kind of thing. And we were like, what kind of name? And we threw out about 5 names, and Rust Bucket stuck because it literally in his garage, we were standing next to a rusted F-100. It was like a 74 F-100. And they're like, look at this old Rust Bucket. And they're like, you know what? That'd be a great band name.
Yeah, totally.
Boom.
I like it. But I think you posted in your group, but you also texted us that you got a new amp. So I was kind of wanted you to bring that up as kind of what's new.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I get my what's new.
Yeah.
Man, I'm honored, dude. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Shit.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. So, I mean,
what's good? What's grooving?
Yeah.
What's grooving? Yeah. So what's grooving with me is I found my old love. So I was telling you I was playing like a lot of new metal and everything.
Yeah.
And what is the new metal staple is the big fat-headed diamond-plated dual rectifier by Mesa Boogie.
Yes.
You should be able to walk on that thing. You should be able to walk on that tread plate.
Yeah.
I have dropped my old one, the one I had back in the 2000s. I actually dropped it off stage. The stage platform was like 6 feet off the ground.
Oh.
And I turned around and I thought I sat it down onto like the side fill cabinet and totally missed it. And that sucker said boom, right up the ground. I was like, oh no, I picked it back up and plugged it in to check that it was all fine. Worked perfect. I was like, now that's a tank, dude.
Yeah, don't recommend that as a test, but glad they passed it.
Oh, yes. I think that happened to me. I think that happened about 2006. I was in tears. I was like, oh no, I just exhausted my 5-year warranty with Mesa.
Did you have the 2-channel version, or did you have the 3-channel version?
I actually got a Rev G 3-channel, and dude, I'm infatuated with that amp. That amp is like my first love to tube amps, and honestly, like everybody's like, oh, those aren't tight. You need to do this mod to tighten up the bottom end. But I'll tell you, I know, shut up, right? Those gear purists, man. Yeah. Like, so since I'm not what I call a purist, and I run a group that's like judgmental free or pretentious free, as I call it. You know, I talk about the sag on those rectifier amps because, like, I'm not saying I'm a sloppy player, but I like that sag that happens with the tube rectifier. That's what it's made for.
Yeah, is
the punch and take. And dude, whatever you punch through the front of that amp, it just takes it, dude. Like,
yeah.
And that's the only way I can explain it. And that's such a way to make natural compression out of that high gain amp.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain it, dude. I hit strings and it does the magic out the speakers. That's all I care about. So
yeah, I had a 2-channel dual rectifier. I don't remember if it was like Rev G.
It had to be a Rev F.
Yeah, whatever. And then 2 of the tubes pulled, so it was running 50 watts, and I would have it as tube rectified.
No judging, Tony.
Yeah.
His face, he's like, oh, he doesn't do that.
Don't do that.
What?
This is before the multi-watt trick, kids. Pay attention.
Yeah.
No, you're allowed to judge here. You're allowed to judge.
No,
I
can't do it.
I didn't do it. I just took it to a shop. It's like, yo, you don't have to do anything, actually, with these Mesas.
I didn't do it.
Mesa.
Yeah, you pulled like 2 and 4 or something
like that. Yeah. And he's like, you can have he gave him the tubes back to me. He's like, yeah, keep them in case these go out. And you just put the new ones back in. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Anyways,
I'm a guitar tech.
Like those amps were so awesome because I didn't know dialing in sound, how to dial in a tone. I was just, I remember the gain was so fucking high and the bass I would have so high. And it still cut through and worked out in the mix. So those amps, people think they're only for metal and stuff like that. They're pretty versatile and they're definitely forgiving. I would say maybe you're right with the whole tube rectified. Like they're more forgiving for, and I'm 34 and I'm still not that good of a guitarist. But back then when I was like 17, my first Mesa, my first tube amp, saved all my pennies for it. And yeah, I love that amp, and Kyle, he's already judged, knows what I'm going to say. I hate that I hate it. I hate myself that I sold that thing.
See, that's why I begged to have another one. He's throwing in the towel already.
Yeah.
I begged to have another one. I'm going to have to level with you guys. I actually just sold my motorcycle.
Dang.
And
what was it?
Well, I had a Kawasaki V800 Vulcan. It was a cruiser.
Yeah.
It's an okay cruiser, but it was like a 2005, so a lot of the parts are starting to deteriorate and that kind of thing. I was like, it's going to cost me the bike to put the bike back together.
Yeah.
So,
how much is it going to cost? Oh, the bike.
Yeah.
It's going to cost the whole bike just to get the bushings and all the plastic parts and all that replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to be ride worthy within the next year. So, and I have a 1-year-old now, so I have to think more on the family guy kind of thing.
Yeah, and they make a car seat for that, right?
Yeah, you just put them on the front of the handlebars and they go wee.
Just get a strap,
duct tape,
ratchet strap.
That ain't going nowhere.
We're going to the store.
2 pops.
Yeah,
he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, 2 pops.
Or you pat it down. That ain't going nowhere.
You tap on the top. It ain't going nowhere.
A couple of taps. You can fit so much spaghetti on this bike.
Officer, I gave it the double check.
Oh, well, then you're good to go, man.
Yeah. So I sold the bike, and I told my wife, I was like, the only reason I'm selling the bike because I'm getting another Mesa Boogie, and she was totally down for that. And she's like, well, okay, so where are you gonna put it? And that was the next thing. So I was like, man, I really want one of the oversized cabs. Yeah. And I tell you, this is the hardest thing to find right now. I don't know if what it's like the gas thing and caused a shortage of finding cabinets locally or something, but
really
they're all gone. They're all just outside of your area,
Yeah, they're all way outside my area, like in Washington
Will not
State.
ship.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think there was one like in San Diego or something.
Yeah. I'm definitely.
I think there is.
So those cabinets are terrible as far as like getting the black shadows. So trying to find the V30 oversized cab is like kind of like the holy grail find for those cabinets.
Yeah.
and then finding the ones with the diamond plated sides like Metallica had.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Like I would goo over those in the catalog. I'd be drooling over it, like I want that cabinet so bad.
I had the oversized slant cab, and then I also had the traditional straight cab. So traditional is like about the size of like your Marshall 1960 cab. Just deeper, but it's not as tall like as the oversized ones.
And 1-inch birch.
Yeah, and way fucking heavier than the
it's like
Marshall.
the size of like a city bus, more like it.
And that's another
Macho Man.
Yeah, another thing. I loved that cab. That specific cab was I liked it better. I mean, probably for my music or whatever. I don't need as much of the boominess and low end, so I definitely prefer the traditional over the oversized guy. But yeah, I got rid of that one too, and I fucking regret getting rid of that fucking cab.
Yeah, take notes, kids. Do not sell a Mesa Boogie. You'll regret it in your midlife crisis.
Marshalls, get rid of those all day. You'll find them.
Yeah, DSLs. Yeah, why do they name them DSL? Like, what the heck?
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing.
But those are going for expensive money too. The JCM 2000 DSLs are like almost $1,000. I'm like, it was like $400 like 5 years ago, and I know with everything, I haven't tried or even looked or even cared about buying new gear, but I know in some groups people are like, prices are going up for gear. Oh my god, they're like panic mode already. I'm like,
there's a fire sale.
Exactly, like
on Reverb.
No, because they're like I can't remember what it was. One of the bigger ones. I can't remember if it's Pedalboards of Doom or whatever. Everybody's just like,
they freak out over everything.
Yeah,
though.
It's like this is the inflation. This is going up. It's ruining my fucking. I'm like, and then some people are posting. I'm like, why don't you just play the gear that you have?
Yeah, I can't buy a Klon right now.
Like, ban this guy, ban him. It's like, I was looking at getting a 15th amplifier, and then the money has gone up $100. This is fucking bullshit. I was like, have you tried buying used or maybe selling one of the ones that you have? Fuck off. Ban him.
They're so nice.
Report it.
Mom.
Yeah.
My mom's a mod. You better be careful.
Get the mods in.
Yeah. So with running a pretentious free, judgment free group, we allow all those shenanigans. So guys are like, hey, I bet that's heavy.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I hear about all my gear, because I'm sure you guys have seen my cabinet with the pedal board cabinet.
Yeah.
It's proprietary to me, and it was kind of for my needs for like rust bucket and everything. So I have a pedal board system for those that are not in the know and probably don't ever go on the Facebooks or the gram. I have a cabinet. It's a 212 cabinet, and on the back of it, it actually folds out to like a open back. Mm-hmm. And the flap that folds out is actually my pedal board. So that's what got my notoriety on the interwebs.
Yeah,
nice.
We just that alone.
Post that. Link it.
Sorry, stepping over with 3 people. I'm like, oh man. I remember. Blake Tone Mob. He reposted that. That's a pretty cool design.
Yeah, and then I was almost in tears when he reposted it. I was like, oh my god, he recognized who I was. Like, I was like fanboying.
But
a post not about pizza, just about gear, and it was me.
It was because everybody makes fun of my cabinet because it's striped. It looks like a butcher block, like cutting board.
Yeah,
so you can cut your pizza on it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then
do the salt thing.
Yeah, do the salt man on your rim. Yeah. But I that makes sense because it's like one less trip, one less thing to bring. So, are you running because you also have an orange? Is it dual terror or tiny terror?
Actually, it was the tiny terror, and that's what got me back on high gain amps. And I was like, man, I really miss having a Mesa for that reason. I was like, I love the tiny terror. I cranked that amp, like cranking it out there. But yeah, it's got the little EL34s in it. But I found out that the way they do the overdrive on that, because normally like with the tube amp, you hit like one and it's like boom, like there.
Yeah.
On the tiny terror, they invert the phase or something, so it's like all one fluid, like a volume pot. So that's like kind of like a pre-gain on a PV or something, but works great. works at gigging levels. It cuts over cymbals. That's kind of why I love it now. Prior to that, I was using a pedal platformer, the EHX 5mm. It's a little 5-watt Class D solid state amp.
Okay, yeah.
It literally just had a volume on it, but I noticed it was really flat and just really couldn't get like my delays to cut through and stuff like that. But I was like, man, now I'm getting picky. I'm like, I guess I do need to run a second amp.
Yeah.
So I have just a sophisticated stereo wet dry rig with that. But I based the cabinet, the 212 cabinet, the pedal board cabinet, off of the Hot Rod Deluxe because I knew that was like the most common amp.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I would just get a Hot Rod Deluxe and pedal platform and play Stevie Ray Vaughan and AC/DC covers. So
that, yeah.
Well, I made my bed, so I got to do it.
Yeah. So that cabinet that you have, it's stereo, so it's like each amp is getting one of the speakers, right? Or is it?
Actually, the Hot Rod Deluxe has its own, 60 watt with the 112. I got a cream back in it, and
okay.
It's in the name, dude. Like that amp does cream, and it does take the really bright, shrill, really tinny parts out of the Hot Rod Deluxe. It kind of smooths it out a little bit. But on the Tiny Terror, it's such a dark amp, so you have like a contrast between like really bright and really dark. So that's they blend very well.
Okay, yeah. I guess I misheard. I thought you were running the Tiny Terror with the EHX thing. Or that little pedal platform, where you're running that into the same cab.
Sorry. I replaced the 5mm with that Tiny Terror. And then when I traded a guitar for that Tiny Terror and the little Mesa Mini 112 cab. Mm-hmm. So that's where I was like, oh man, I really want a rectifier again after getting that. So I had me going for one.
I haven't played one it's been years. But I don't know if it's like, if I tried playing one again, if it would hold up in my mind, would I remember how, great it sounds? Like, I'm pretty sure it would. Because even like the newer ones, I had a buddy who had the 3-channel dual rectifier, and it sounded great. And then I also had a combo 1x12 of the single, or the 50-watt single rectifier. And it sounded awesome too. It definitely was a totally different beast than the 2x12 Rev F that I had, but it still was great. Like, and I'm using "great" as the only. It's still like
it sounded great too.
It definitely had. I felt like it had a lot more gain on tap, and the EQ was a lot more responsive on the newer ones. Like, you could actually, like, when you cranked up the bass, you're like, oh, that's actually too much. Whereas before, like, I was just like, oh, all the bass,
too much.
And then I had like probably mids at like, I don't know, 3 o'clock. And then treble. I'm like, nah, it's fine. Keep that like at like noon maybe. And I had the gain probably at, if not 3 o'clock or all the way dimed. And it was just like, that's how I would run my sound with my Strat. And I'm like, it probably was the shittiest sound, but I loved it.
Playing your Angels and Airways covers on your Tom DeLonge Strat.
Yeah. And then, and I'm like, running that with like, just the Strat with the JB. I'm like, that was, my sound. And I wonder if it still holds up today. So,
dude, it will. Seriously.
You used to run an Invader through that. That was pretty hot.
I didn't like that as much. It was like, as soon as I switched to the JB, I'm like, oh, this actually sounds way better. Like, the Invader was just, it was.
I want all the gain.
It was just too loud. Like, it had, like the compression hitting or you would get from hitting the amp with like a boost, but constantly.
The Invaders had like the full screw for the magnet pole. Yeah. I want railroad spikes for like each pole.
Yeah, that's what I want for just one big railroad spike.
Yeah,
you have to have like a 120 volt power supply for that.
Yeah, make it active too.
You like pick up radio transmissions and like moon landings.
CB radio.
Yeah. So you're doing wet dry for your rig for your band. Do you think
and I think the guys sometimes get aggravated with it because like here I am like carrying like, hey, I got 2 amps and I got both hands full with 2 guitar cases underneath my arms while I'm carrying the 2 amps.
Could you help me?
But actually, I show up and then have to unload all the PA equipment and set the drums up, and then I bring all the guitar gear up on stage. So
what the fuck's the drummer doing?
Getting there. Still driving to the gig normally.
He's getting drunk. That's what he's doing.
It's possible. Nah.
We're,
dude, it's a 4 or 5 hour set, so you gotta kind of soldier on.
Yeah, we did it in plane, and we're do it in just in case. Help Brian set up, because I know the drums are the biggest pain in the ass. And then I know when Kyle and I gigged, it was like our setups we got down to like pretty fucking quick. Bass, pedal board, amp. Guitar, pedal board, amp. Boom, done. It was like not even have
kick, snare, hi-hat.
And then so we kind of would get that placed, set up, and maybe turn on the amps to warm them up. And then we're like, okay, and now we're helping Brian
then
load,
you just
bring his shit
then
up.
you work with his stuff, and then you go back to yours that you're fine tuning, move shit around,
Yeah, you kind of get it approximately where, like, you kind of know where where his drums go, and then he will fine tune it. I'm like,
okay, sorry, drink ticket. Then you gotta go with the drink. Ticket
yeah, drink.
after.
No, you drink tickets before you play. And then you use them all. Don't give them to the band, and that's when you say, like, guys, we didn't get any drink tickets. Sorry,
we're not getting paid tonight either.
Like,
who are you winking at? No one.
With this one little tip, this is how you steal from your bandmates. $40. So, but I know, like, and Kyle, you knew Brian's drum placement. The hi-hat went on the left side, smallest crash cymbal, bigger crash cymbal, ride to his right. Sometimes we put, like, I don't know, like, I'm like, they're too far away, but then Brian would move them. But it's like, yeah, they're close enough.
You didn't sneak him the tambourine and the cowbell.
Put it on the complete wrong side and stuff like that. We did, and I know we've told this story, but I love it. I love this story. So we had a drummer where he shared a studio that we would rehearse at, and he shared it with another drummer. So this guy was an older guy. He was probably like drum kit, like a monster drum kit from like the 80s. On one side of the room, and then the rest we had. Yeah. And he was a cool guy. And we talked to him, and then he came out to a gig, and we were stoked because we're like, oh, he's able to help our drummer with unload his gear and then break it down while we can go grab our shit. And so he helped the drummer get his shit off stage, and then he was breaking down the drums, and he completely took apart hardware. Like, for the drums, like
the set screws and everything,
like springs,
like
the washers, and then like the wing nut or whatever, he did that, and then he went like this. The drummer was like he was
so wrong.
He was a really nice guy, so he didn't say anything to him because he's an older guy, but like.
There was no next gig for that.
You gotta be careful what you do. You say, instead of tear this down or break this down or take this apart, you have to be careful what you say to people.
Well, yeah, because he took it like he did his
next
job.
He's gonna blow apart the molecules. That was the next step.
Oh my god! Or you have the
flash
polar
furnace.
You ask the singer, "Can you help me load the truck?" And they hold you the whole hi-hat stand with the hi-hat cymbal still on it.
Loading it, they're not even breaking it down and putting it in the hardware bag, not in the hardware case. But it was just hilarious.
The bass drum with both rack toms still on it. Like, here you go.
Like, he held out his hands and he's just like, he looks at us like, get a load of this guy, and he's like, no, I'm good. I can take care of the rest if you want to go back inside the bar.
I got it from here.
Get yourself a drink or something, pal. And then he was just like, what the fuck does this even go to? I'll have to figure that out tonight. Jesus Christ.
It's like a fucking Rubik's Cube.
He probably works for IKEA's production plant where they have to break it all down and put it in the box. So.
Yeah. Oh, it was hilarious. I'm pretty sure, like I said, we told that, but I love that story. It's just, he helped me break down my drums.
That's great.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. More stories from the road.
Yeah. From some shit bar we played, I think. But I wanted to mention a couple things for my what's new. So we're trucking along here already, but we'll see if we get to a topic or not. But I did start listening to a new podcast. this week. So it's a retro gaming podcast called Remember the Game. So I thought it was funny. I was listening to it, and it instantly reminded me of Andrew Walsh, or like say, like, hey, Andrew, you might like this game because the guy who hosts it, he's Canadian, and he talks about retro games. And
you're Canadian? This guy's getting you love this guy.
And this guy plays games. And then Andrew's like, don't you know more about me than that? I'm like, I'll take a listen to the podcast.
Is that all I am to you?
I'm like, dude, this is made for you. He's Canadian and he plays Nintendo.
Do you know such and such?
Like, he's on the complete opposite side of Canada.
Oh my gosh. He's in the Northern Territories?
Yeah. But so it's a kind of like retro video game podcast talking about like Super Nintendo games, N64, stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. So you can listen to, like, I don't know. And I'm like, how it came up is like, it's like a podcast. The host is a comedian, like local comedian to his area. So he's not like famous or anything, but I heard about his podcast on Reddit. So I'm part of like, I think the podcasting subreddit, and the guy, his podcast is doing well. So he made a post about like, hey, what other ones?
Yeah, what other subreddits, Brian?
Yeah, the joke is yes. There's a lot of porn ones too. There's a lot of good stuff on Reddit, Kyle.
Good stuff. Tony's
good stuff
shut
on
off.
The good stuff, yeah.
There's good stuff on.
But the guy's podcast is doing well, so he made a post about it. It's like, hey, I finally, like, my podcast actually finally broke like over 1 million downloads. And I just one guy kind of doing it. Well, his podcast, he talks like just like, oh yeah, a little bit, gets some stuff from his, Discord community. They do some questions, little games and stuff. And then he has a discussion with a friend. It could be one of his comedian friends, a family friend, or like somebody he knew as a kid, talking about a specific game. Like, okay, that's actually pretty good structure of a podcast. And so his post was like, hey, I'm not trying to promote my podcast. I'm just trying to say like, hey, I reached 1 million downloads in like 2 years. So I kind of wanted to like, oh, if you like, and ask me anything, if you have questions, maybe I can give you advice. It's to me, it sounded, pretty nice. He wasn't like a dickhead, but like every Reddit group, there's just a lot of shitheads on there.
Where do you get off?
Asshole coming. Exactly. They just ripped his ass apart. It's like, this, like, fuck him. He's just humble bragging. What does he want us to suck his dick? And he's like, he's not even answering any questions. And like, it was 15 minutes or something like that. And the guy's like,
sounds like Reddit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was walking my dog,
but just not as. Yeah, he's like, I wasn't getting any responses, and it was probably like an hour. So I, put my phone down and went to go play a video game, because that's what I like to do. And apparently you guys fucking hate my guts and you don't even know who I am. But he started answering some questions. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me just check out his podcast. It's actually pretty good. So I was just like, what you would expect if he's, actually making a living on Patreon support and doing a podcast. So I'm like, oh, I like it. So it's become another, one of my podcast listens. So it was just kind of a funny story that I'm like, how I came to see it. It's just everybody shitting on this guy. And I'm like, well, his podcast has to be good to get that many, and he's not famous. There could be like, oh, Conan O'Brien has a podcast. Of course it's fucking popular.
Yeah.
Or it's like
that. They're acting like that guy's like a celebrity.
Of course it's fucking popular. Yeah. A celebrity kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, it was like, oh,
fuck this guy and his success.
Yeah, exactly. That's how people are. It's like he's
a mild success.
And he did answer. Yeah, it's not like he's he's not fucking Joe Rogan out here.
Yeah.
Well, there was a fucking I don't know if they still do it, but it was like Bruce Springsteen and Barack Obama had a podcast, and I'm like,
yeah,
I think the Renegades or something like that. I'm like, Renegade? What? You were a leader of the fucking United States of America, and you're a rock star. Yeah, we're definitely bucking the system here.
Yeah, you are the system, fellas.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. It was like just Matt and Shane talking about it. Like, what the fuck is this? What do you mean renegades? What?
We're the renegades.
Anyway, so So I was like saying, oh, I might need a new podcast to listen to because I guess Stavros Halkias has officially left the Cumtown podcast. So it's, and I'm like, it's probably not going to be the same, or it might be better because it's just not.
Well, surprise, boys! I'm not sure if you were talking about Canadians or not, but some of the Jism boys have started another podcast about Letterkenny as a watch along. So we've been watching that for the last week. So it's actually called Texas Size 10-4, and it'll be with Joseph O'Rourke, and it will be also with John Shake, who's a Patreon of Just Surprise Me. So that whole crew.
Have you guys have you done an episode yet, or is it just you kind of?
Yeah, we just did a pilot episode, and I think Joe had it released on the Masters of the Cinematic Universe and on the Just Surprise Me as like a bonus content.
Nice.
And I started a Facebook group, which no surprise, like I run a bunch of Facebook groups already. Sorry, hard to keep up with. So
post the wrong thing in the wrong one.
I'm drowning here.
Yeah. And what's funny because we have the Texas State Boggle Champs, and now it's called the Texas Size 10-4. So we're all about Texas, but none of us live in Texas.
Yeah,
only just the Kyle
get on my
McIntyre
level,
Yeah.
fellas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Talking about it's one thing living here.
yeah.
So
And
complicated.
rural Texas, ma'am.
Looking at like notifications, I'm like, oh, which one?
Sir.
I'm like, God damn it! Is it the King of the Hill one or is it the Letterkenny one? But as far as gear goes, so I have like a bunch of random picks, and I was kind of just going through, and I noticed that I did have a Death by Audio pick, probably got from Nam, but it was one of the triangle Dunlop ones. So
Nice.
you've seen these guys. Oh. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, whoop, dropped it. So one of the triangle picks, and I was like interested.
Don't
This is my favorite pick.
I broke it. I dropped it.
It has like glass.
Where like it just disappears. So I was kind of in the like buying a new finding a new bass pick. So I really, really, really like the gravity picks, the Razor 1.5 XLs. Yeah.
That's a thick boy there.
It's like a
Oh,
pog.
yeah, two. Slammer.
Yeah, it's a fucking slammer, dude.
This is like one of my
What's a
favorite.
title list?
Yeah. You dent your table with that.
Oh, dang. I got another PV pick. Dang. They got screwed last
Anyway,
name.
so I can't play these gravity picks because they are so fucking expensive. They're like $30 a fucking pick.
Plus
They
inflation.
last
Yeah, don't drop that one.
Well, they last a long time, but this one's like starting to go. I'm like, okay, I am not gonna buy those. And I don't know if you guys get accustomed to picks that you're playing. That was gonna be a question, but I'm like, heard that the triangle ones, like a lot of bass players like them because they're a little bit bigger as far as what you can grip with your hand there, and you have more pick edges. And I'm like, so I'm gonna give this a shot here and see if I like it, because these are the Tortex ones, so they're the price of normal fucking guitar picks, not like $30 per pick. They're like,
I thought the bass players loved the triangle ones because they double as a ninja star because you have to be the security on stage.
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta take people out. Dang.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of already answered it, but Tony. But do you guys have like favorite picks that you use for instruments, like specifically like guitar versus bass or something like that?
I will use anything I'll pick up. So I use a lot of free picks, like Kyle was talking about from Guitar Center. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of friends that build pedals.
Gifted.
And I support. Yeah, gifted. And I have a lot of small businesses I support. So I actually have like a shelf with all their picks on there, but I don't use their picks, just so I can keep them on display.
Yeah.
And, advocate for supporting small businesses. And having a pick's great. The thin picks, I would say those are the ones I've lightened up my touch, and I would play like in a band like Rust Bucket because I'm playing like a Strat or a Telly or something.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing more like rock, metal. I'm kind of gravitating towards a heavy, something like 88.
Okay.
Or even, like a 1 mil or something.
Yeah.
So and I gotta knock those strings out with that pick, dude. Like, because normally I'm trying to toss a guitar and hula hoop it, on stage.
Yeah.
So,
so you're not too like particular. What brand do you use? What type? What shape?
Just dude, I've tried them all, dude. Like, and just whatever I can get my hands, I can do squealies with. So if it's just got a little bit of a meat of a pick, like I've broken picks, so I flip them over and use the top side that you're not supposed to use. So I'm a utilitarian when it comes to the picks. That's illegal.
You're like, it just
there's a referee who just blows a whistle.
You're like,
those ones you throw out in the crowd,
preferably with a pick. That's it. That's the like. If I had to, I'll play with the thumb. But it's like a pick is like that's the bar. That's it. I like it. I like definitely. It. It's like, all right, maybe thinner, lighter, or maybe heavier. That's it. So it's not even just like, oh, it has to be this. This is where I think Kyle and I probably lined up a little bit more. Kyle, do you have specific picks that you like for? I know you do for bass, but do you have some for guitar?
I like the 60s, like the Tortex 60s.
Tortex.
And what I've been trying recently is I've taken like a thumbtack and just scratch the back of it so it has like grip, just add. You probably can't see it. Yeah, there you go. Scratch the shit out of it.
Oh yeah.
So
looks like the Blair Witch Project.
I know. I tried to write my name, but that's all I can do. No. But I have like, I don't have too many of those. I was gonna buy some more, but I usually go for the 60s just when I'm strumming.
Okay.
Playing, doing like full chords. Yeah. But if I want something a little stiffer, I go for the 88s.
Okay.
Tortex 88s.
And then you prefer just like the regular pick size, not like sharps, or what they have like.
No, I don't. Shape size, no. I used to be all about Clayton's. But
Clayton's, yes.
Those are like the triangle ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, because my older brother's name's Clayton, so I was like, yeah, I'll buy that. Like, oh yeah, I'm pretty cool. Like, this one's actually a Koch Schneider. Koch.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, he's a cool dude. Just check him out.
Yeah.
But I usually play the traditional shape. I guess not really when it comes to bass though. I get the sharps. So I like the 1.14 sharps. So I like that, like just getting that, I don't know, with the rounded edge, I think it kind of glides over, but with pick, it's like, fucking move out of my way. It's like, this is gentle where it's like, excuse me, sir. But with the, I don't have any.
Going over.
I think, Brian, you stole
I imagine the rounded ones being called plectrum.
Yes.
They because they're the shape of a plectrum. But the Sharpies, dude, like, it's like, stab.
Here's one of those Fender ones, the medium. But look at this, it's all chipped. It's all just...
The chips.
That's one pick scrape.
Like a shark's tooth.
Yeah, it just gives up the ghost. Anyways, literally, these are just like my extra picks from NAMM. But, I don't know.
Some say Kiss on them, or...
No, I don't have any...
Well, yeah, because I think...
Go ahead.
I'm like Kyle. I have an Altoids tin where I keep all my, branded picks and stuff like that. I don't know. Those are ones I'm like, oh, I'm not going to use those. And then until I saw, this, the triangle, Death by Audio one, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to use that guy. Those are the ones that would fuck up
This is the one. Yes, this is the one that'll fuck up your white pick guard. And it'll fuck up your life too, because look at this. Because JHS. Yeah.
You don't like anything JHS, right? And you
no.
Don't like
all the tones in the pick, man.
Yeah.
You don't like anything Keeley.
Dude, and I don't know why I'm saving any of these. Like, look at this thing. This thing's like straight edges.
It's the crocodile.
But it's like, it's been worn down.
Did you make that? Did you?
I didn't. There's like nothing left. That's why my fingers look like this.
Why would you keep that?
You guys know how to sharpen a pick, right?
carpet.
So if you ever lose and it's rounded, use the carpet and you just kind of grind the carpet.
We sit in our practice space. Yeah, someone else had a rug there. You're just like.
Or it'd be like a kind of like
you just hear that thunder
carpet that's in there.
Yeah, exactly.
You just totally make marks if your pick was like dark or black or whatever. Just like a line in the carpet, and they're like, you fuck it up. You're like, I don't care.
Well, you pick it. You go with the pattern. You take like the edge of it. It's like a Persian rug. You're just like go with that straight edge on the side. No one will ever know.
Just fuck
you can't do it with Berber. Like Berber style carpet or shag. Shag will ruin your knuckles.
You have nothing left. Yeah, you gotta do it like wool.
Did
it's
that
like a wool rug
for a
polyester.
While. Mm-hmm. Definitely worked with the Dunlop ones or the Tortex, and then I switched to using the Dunlop Ultex, the one with the rhino on it, and that carpet trick doesn't work.
You like the chicken picks though, right? You liked for a while chicken
picks? Those are cool.
Picks?
Yeah.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, but I haven't tried to buy those because I think they're expensive.
Yeah.
But another pick like I don't want to get so used to, because when you're like, I kind of got used to this, I'm gonna buy it. Oh fuck no, I'm not gonna pay fucking $20 for a pick. Fuck that.
Having a capo, you know you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, just get something cheap because you're gonna have to replace it.
They make those rolling capos.
You're gonna lose it.
Those ones that roll. It's like what guys with like no headstocks, just like just shoots right off. It's gone. Yeah. That's me with a chicken pick.
It's like a Hot Wheels car.
it's like a slingshot. Just gone.
But no, actually, Kyle, I like that trick about the kind of using a thumbtack or whatever to add the grip
texture.
Texture to it. Because
I'll send some over to you guys.
I'll just use the tack.
Yeah. So that because you
just use the tack as a pick. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just use that.
Just blood everywhere.
Have you guys tried the dime or the quarter, like to pick with?
Yeah. When you're like out of pick. Yeah. No picks.
Out of pick. I do not like it. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently there's slide guitar players that do that because it's they want that attack. Because they're using volume pedals already and that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
like a lap steel, they'll use a quarter or a dime.
Yeah, because it's like with the ridges on the edge, you can kind of get some like different attack with that, and then also just the fact that it's metal as well. But that would have no point. That'd be like, not that there's no point to it, but it's like there's no attack point to it because it's like the rounded thing. Like when your pick goes dull, it's like how Kyle would say, it's like it kind of just goes over the string, the little roundness. Yeah. You like playing with the back of your pick. How you say?
Like, I want to play with like a fish hook. I just want to I want to actually hook that string. So no like point. I want like they make those, don't they? They make like those picks that have like they're like bumps on one side and they have like.
And then there's like a hook on it. I don't remember what they're called.
It is a Dunlop.
I think it is a Dunlop. Yeah.
I don't remember. That guy got fired. They still make those picks though.
What the dumb idea is this?
Yeah, they were in the board meeting and they were trying to get to lunch. They're like, we need to come up with a new pick design. And he was like, look, here's what it looks like on a napkin. And he was like, all right, I'm out. Like we're going to break.
And they're all like,
they fired him and they still made the pick.
Yeah.
It's
good enough. It's time for lunch. Let's go. Actually, let's go home after lunch.
Let's go home.
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
I used to.
We got McAllister's being catered in.
I did used to play a pick like the picks that I guess they were celluloid, but they like wrapped around your finger, so they would stay on your thumb.
The thumb picks.
Yeah. Not like the banjo style, but yeah, it was like I guess it was like a thumb pick. I mean, obviously
that way you don't drop
exactly what it was. Yeah, because it was when I first started playing. But like you would break them, and once you broke them, you're screwed. It would break like right on the edge there. So right where your thumb is. So it's like now you have the sharp edge that's up against your thumb. You're like, this is exactly how I wanted this to go.
You know what those picks were called, right? Picking and a grinning, because bluegrass.
Oh,
I'd like pick one time.
Those banjo style ones.
A friend came from Japan. He brought a bunch of different picks, which a lot of them you could just get here. But one of them I've never seen before, and I'm like, I gotta have that one. It's in the shape of like a home plate, so like a home. And I'm like, it's squared, and then it comes to a point at the top. I'm like, I don't know whatever I ever did with that pick. And I'm like, because it's like, I don't think it was very good to play, but I'm like, where did this design come from? It's
I like
this.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
The Monopoly board.
But it's like, they kind of took the idea of like a jazz, it was small, so like a jazz pick, but it was, point and like shaped like a house, like the home plate. But yeah, I wonder what they were called, or I don't remember that company. Or
maybe the John Cougar Mellencamp Pink Houses signature pick, you know.
Or maybe I just made it up. Maybe that could be a Brian Gower signature pick. Just really shitty, and just because you could. Why did you do it?
Probably did it for Boardwalk and Park Place.
Yeah.
You know?
Park Place, went to jail. All right. Yeah. Well, hey, actually, we're over an hour. We didn't even get to any topics. We're just
we're just talking about picks for an hour.
We're just chatting it up. But let's get on out of here. So Tony, thank you so much for joining us. Your debut on Tone Jerks podcast.
Woo woo woo.
How'd we do, Tony?
Oh yeah, all 569 stars. Y'all did great.
All right, we got them all.
All right, whining and dining.
But,
yeah.
Tony, where can people check you out? I want to do the plug.
Right here.
Everywhere on the internet, except
not a lie.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, Pornhub, you got it all there.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, under the Signal Path. Signal Path also has a podcast. I try to invite guests. Usually they come chasing me down. They're like, hey, I'd like to be on there. And then I'm also on a podcast about King of the Hill, aforementioned, called Texas State Boggle Champs with Joe O'Rourke. Also now in the Letterkenny podcast that will be launching within the last week, that is called Texas Size 10-4. And I think I'm going to end up being a permanent or semi-permanent host for Just Surprise Me. So,
all right. Podcasting it up. Damn.
All right, I'm adding that to your
list here. I need to upgrade
here.
this crappy mic for that too. So.
You don't need an SM7B. They're like $400. You don't need them.
Yeah.
They're cool. I like them. And they look rad, but you don't get one of these. You don't need it for podcasting.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Yeah, so check out his million podcasts. He's out there just getting it. And
also I'm a Patreon member of the Tone Jerks. I love this small group of guys right here. Yeah. These two guys right here. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I guess I'll have to read your name now.
Yeah. So it's also, privilege for me to enjoy you guys every single week. Like I say, you guys are in my head rent free every single week when I listen to the podcast. So.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. Yeah.
Damn.
All the dumb shit we say and all the wrong information. We're just like, what is that called?
Diarrhea out of our mouth. That's real.
Change the format the whole next week. And we're like, what are these guys talking about? I can't follow.
I edited the Patreon, and then Kyle and I, how slow it was for us to find out 2004 was less than 20 years away from now. He was like, I was like, yeah, it's like 30 years or something like that. And Kyle's like, yeah, no, it's like, yeah, almost like, I think it's almost 40, I think, right? And then
like, the algebraic emblems like come around your head.
And we're both, and then we're like, I didn't cut it out. And I'm like, oh my God, we're both so fucking stupid. The math for it.
Yeah.
2004, add 20 years, that would be 24. 2024. We're not even there yet, so it's under 20 years. I'm like, why did we think it was 30 and 40? I'm like, we're fucking stupid. Some people can listen to it like just raging at their car, like, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
Anyways, but before we get to that, so I want to say thank you for tuning in, listening to the Tone Jerks podcast. If you like what you hear, you can follow along on social media. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. It's linked in the description, as well as our Instagram at the Tone Jerks. We're posting cool shit on the reg over there. And then we're also on YouTube. You can watch the podcast in video form. We got other videos on there. We got demos. We got all that shit going on at YouTube. All those are linked in the description. And also linked in the description is our Patreon. You can help support the show at patreon.com/thetonejerks for as little as $1 a month. But if you double down for $2 a month, you get an extra episode every week. And you get an RSS feed. You get to put the podcast into your favorite podcatcher. You get all the back catalog. There's over 220 bonus episodes over there.
Baby got back catalog.
You got a new one coming out every Tuesday. So that's premium content behind the paywall. We get a little rowdy over there. So I just want to say thank you to these fine people. Kyle, you got a list over there?
I got it right here.
Gonna give them a few huge shout outs, some sizable acknowledgments. I'm getting distracted by Tony being the hype guy.
He's dancing.
Yeah, he's like,
I love it.
We should put some. He starts skanking. He's the skank guy, the hype guy. All right. We're gonna give these people a huge shout out. Kyle, you got a list?
I got it right here.
Why don't you give it to?
We have Andrew Walsh from Andrew's Alcove and the Second Button Podcast, which is a Seinfeld listen, watch along podcast that he does with Brian Gower. Or Brian Gower does it with, anyways.
I think Andrew might be the host of that.
Who wears the puffy shirt in that that relationship? All right, we got Abe Newman, Michael Newman, Nicholas Payson, Nicholas Ogburn, Doug King, Doug Chris from 37 Effects, Masters of the Cinematic Universe, and also the Just Surprise Me podcast. We got Joe from Masters of the Cinematic Universe, and also the Just Surprise Me podcast. Texas Boggle State Champs and Texas Size 10-4. Add that now. Thanks, guys. We got Will Ahue from the Just Surprise Me podcast. We got Tony DeGraw from the Signal Path podcast.
From right
Texas
here.
State Boggle Champs and Texas Size 10-4, which you heard about right here. Hot off the press.
New podcast, new hot.
Coming right at you.
You guys do a YouTube for both of those, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and we're fighting for fair use, being transformative fair use. So I'm actually doing a research paper for that for college right now. So
Oh, for,
we're sticking it to the man. Like,
for the sound clips and stuff like that you use. Yeah.
yeah.
They're always
we
trying
got,
to fuck you over.
RJ Smith from Tally Talks. We got Jamie Davis, Johnny Ray, Jason Fuzzmonger, Steve Rao from 60 Cycle Hum. Oh, sorry, I almost tripped on that one. 60 Cycle Hum.
Yeah.
Kevin E. Quits from E. Quits
That's a different
Guitars.
subreddit.
Yeah. I'm sure Steve's still in it though.
Yeah. He's the moderator. Got you good, huh?
Yeah. We got Co Schneider from Night Tides, Alvaro Viramontes, Brian Nutter from Nutter Guitars, Mel Chipson of Chipson Guitars, Sean Arbo from Gun Street Wiring Shop, Sean Fahey from Shadow Hounds, Sean Wright from Lollygagger Effects, Juan Ortiz from Tone Hungry Effects, Mike Oxbig,
Oh yeah. Like,
Hugh G-Rection.
Tony and I are just vibing, just like
Yeah.
a cat, like listening to
The
Home Depot theme.
Yeah.
Home Depot playing in your head.
That's what dads do on a Saturday.
More power. Yeah. Yusuf fucking cock. We got Zach Hale. Eric Merrill from YouTube. Check out his channel. Scott Hamilton from the Effects Loop podcast. Tim Noack from Bardic Audio Devices. Tyler Rhines from Tyler Casey Riffs on Instagram. Matthew Fenslaw. Michael McVeigh and Matthew Davis.
Oh yeah.
And that's it.
All right,
that's
there
the
you
list.
go. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. Thank you, Tony. I think we will see you next time. Bye bye.
See ya.